Let the chaos reign.
Chaos Reign presents what progress was made from the past and present of the origins of Juneteenth, broadcast June the 23rd, 2019. Enjoy.
The views expressed on Talk Real Solutions, hosted by Tyrone Thompson at TalkRealSolutions.com, are the views of Tyrone Thompson and do not reflect the views of TalkRealSolutions.com, YouTube, or etc. The content here belongs to Talk Real Solutions and its many contributors. Views and opinions expressed by all contributors belong to them and not TalkRealSolutions.com or Tyrone Thompson, the host, or etc. All data and information provided on the site is for informational purposes only. Talk Real Solutions makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, correctness, suitability, or validity of any information on this site and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or delays in this information or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its display or use. All information is provided on an as-is basis.
In a world where there's crime, corruption, violence, rape, death, and all other forms of atrocities that plague the world we live in, what you're witnessing, you're living in a state of chaos, and it'll take a greater, much extremer chaos to restore the order in which the world you live in today. Hello, black people. This is Chaos Gary. And tonight, we can go back in time a little bit, or more like present day, on discussion in regardless to what we want to call progress. But before we go into today's discussion with my special guest, Charles Fauklner Jr., I would like everybody to go to TalkRealSolutions.com. On the TalkRealSolutions.com, you'll see a 3-point plan for Black Empowerment, Black Achievement. Under the 3-point plan, you will see a list of black established-owned banks located here in the United States of America. We still have a total of around 30 banks still active in the United States. And I would like if everybody that has already a bank account to start investing money into these black established banks. And the way how things are going right now, I think it would be wiser now to start putting them in these black established banks, depending on how the bank system is going from here on in. One thing I will say to most people is that as y'all know, we are now in the summer solstice of yesterday, or actually day of yesterday, the 21st of June. So we all know how the summer goes. It's going to get very hectic, possibly violent, or all other things that, how our people react when the weather gets hot, very hot. And like always, I expect a very hot summer this year, no doubt. But, be safe out there. But also in the website, you will see all our latest articles, latest news, talking about political things, and things that go around the black community. On the website, talkrealsolutions.com is the site to go. Also on Talk Real Solutions, there is a donation tab where you can donate to the show. All proceeds will go to the show and also the growth of the show and other things that, need here or there said. But nonetheless, please donate as you can, to support the show. And like always, any people that really care about media, please support your interests, like always. Another thing, also you can find us on YouTube as well. You can type in Talk Real Solutions on YouTube. There on the YouTube channel, you'll find all episodes, broadcasts, 7 days a week. The last show we had during Friday was with Mr. African Emporium about money and stock. It was an excellent show. Normally I would have had him on my show, but that's another story. So people can go tune back into Friday's broadcast. You'll learn something. I know I did. And, I think that's pretty much it. And like always, sit back and enjoy the show and donate. So let me check if my officer of the law, Baltimore's Violence, Mr. Charles Fauklner, is on the line. Let's check. Oh, hold on. Let me call him. Wait a second. All right. As we wait, also, you could subscribe to Chaos Reign on YouTube as well. I have a YouTube channel. As we wait on to pressing matters, let's look at what's going on. As I'm looking right now, there's a lot of weird things going on out here. Right now in politics. Oh, and I might do maybe a stream on this show sometime down the line, maybe soon. I've noticed that Alabama put into law to remove the divorce papers, to not no longer issue marriage license in the state of Alabama or give papers of marriage. And that's going to I have to investigate a little further in. But that will be maybe sometime on a future stream. Probably on here. Maybe. Hold on. Let me check my YouTube's up. I'm not sure if let me type up, make sure the YouTube is up. 1 second, people. But the title for tonight's stream is What Progress Was Made on the Origins of Juneteenth, or What Progress Was Made, the Origins of Juneteenth. That's a very good and logical question that has to be investigated tonight. And I'll tell you a little story. I did not know of any existence of a Juneteenth until I got a little older in my age and came across, people mention it on YouTube, especially certain promising people about Juneteenth. And I find it very interesting that, this is a thing that was passed down to our people some time now, that just passed. And why I wasn't aware until I was older. And I go think back about the so-called school system. and how we continue to fail us as people when we put our children in these institutions that we do not control. Because if I had to find out outside the system what it is, what it means, it tells you how much they like to not hid the history of this country of black people, but doesn't generate the importance. And when I say importance, to know that so this was the day or a week when the slaves actually were free on the month of June of 1865. You know? And it's one of the most noticed days of Black America. But not emphasized enough until you do the research yourself to find out what it is. I find it very sad. You know, we should have more pride as a collective to really know these things. But, you know, when they don't emphasize and teach enough, our babies will not know, unfortunately. You have to find out later in life, which is very sad. Very sad. They want most of us to glorize others besides our own. And mind you, we're not free yet. I'm aware of that. But still, it's something important that people should know. I have a call. Let me take this caller. Who's this? Hello? Open your call.
Hi, Gary.
Hey.
How you doing?
All right.
This is Gigi. I wanted to say thank you for your diligence in doing these shows. And while you're waiting, why don't you accept some calls? That's it. I'm done.
There's no one called but you. You're the only person I called, Gigi.
Oh, okay. I think
So
it's
what's on your
very...
mind? What's new, Gigi? Since you're online, what's new?
Well, I just wanted to say thank you. You really work hard on these shows, and you really, work hard, getting guests like Joshua, and other guys and gals. So I just want to say thank you. I know it's not easy. That's it.
I mean, doing these shows takes a lot of time out of my time.
I can imagine.
To try to put something together. Sometimes I will go solo sometimes. Sometimes I will bring guests most of the time because I like to talk, not much, as you can tell. But nonetheless, the show must go on.
And Miss Alicia. I don't want to forget Miss Alicia for Newsnight. So I can't imagine how much it takes out of your day and week.
Yeah. I find it very interesting, Gigi, that when I bring some of the males that from most of the ladies feel that they have a problem with females, that y'all ladies got a lot of problems. A lot of these males or these guys that's called the MGTOW, the Manosphere, all this nonsense, Which
well,
I'm not.
You know what I did? I've listened to MGTOW shows and white and black guys, and I mean a lot of them are just telling the truth about what has happened to them. You know what I mean? Like if they tell their personal story about how they lost all their money, or they in a divorce, or how they don't get to see their children, or if stuff like that, that's real. I mean, and I can understand why that would make them be angry or hateful towards all women, but it shouldn't be all women. It should be that particular woman. But I think those places are very healthy for men to go to vent, just like T.R.S. Even though we don't always agree on each other's opinions, it's a healthy outlet for males and females. But I think that just like you as a man, you can kind of tell if a woman has issues with men. With that, women, we feel like we can tell when a man has problems with women. I mean, of course, we're not always right, but,
I see. It's funny. With a lot of women, think about it. Their issue is either they can get a man. Well, they can get a man, but it's the most challenging is how you keep a man. Too much. Any woman can get a man. It's not hard. If you look good enough, a man will gravitate and try to, lash on you. But it's keeping them is always the challenge. You get me? And I think women do too much. If you think about it in the day,
What do you mean? What do you mean too much?
They just do too much in my mind. Either they're not doing enough or they're doing less. It's one or the other. But I have another caller, Gigi.
Okie dokie.
Hello?
Hey, what's up, Chaos?
Oh, okay. Mr. Faulkner's here. All right. So this is what I'm going to do. Gigi, I want you to call back. Okay? All right. So my guest is here, and we can start the festivities. All right. Welcome again, Officer of the Law of the Great Baltimore City of Maryland, Officer Charles Fauklner Jr.
What's up, man?
Mm-hmm. Oh, one thing. I know your son. You say your son graduated from middle school, or he's going to high school?
Elementary. He's going to middle.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Oh, great.
Thank you.
Yeah, great. You know what I'm saying? Now he's at the mid stage and into the teenage years of next year. So you know how boys are, man. Once they get to that, teenage age.
That's when it's very important to teach them. Well, you should have already been teaching them, but it's exclusively important at that moment.
Mhm. I agree. Wait, who's 443? Actually, guys, I'm not gonna take. No, I'll just you. Never mind. I know who this is. All right. Before we start, and like always, the subject matter, Professor Charles Fauklner Jr. We're gonna go into this thing about Juneteenth and what progress was made of this glorious week. I think it's not just a day; it's a week. All right.
It's pretty much the reasons why we're not in chains anymore.
Mhm. All right, so let me sit back and let you go into your discussion about this progress.
It's the progress that we made, or the lack of thereof, and we can blame many sources. Of course, systematic racism and previously slavery, but we have also, in days since civil rights, what have we accomplished since then as a whole, both black men and black women? Are we happy with the conditions of our community? Or, as the old saying goes, do we wallow in our obsolescence? Do we strive for excellence? Back in the 1890s, black people had 1/2 of 1% of the wealth in the country. In 2019, I want you to guess how much the percentage is now.
Still 1%.
1/2 of 1%. Do we put finance and economics above all, or do we just want a good education due to indoctrination? Do we want to be a part of the rat race? Even if we're winning the rat race, that just means you're the number one rat. Do we practice what we preach when it comes to group economics? Are we better off now or then? What progress has been made? It's funny because I remember looking at a study for colleges, and 20, 30 years ago, the average grade in college was like a C-. Now it's like a B+. Is that due to everyone, achieving more, or is it due to No Child Left Behind? Which does affect our children exclusively. Are we really stewards of their education, or do we just put them in there as a glorified daycare? Excuse me. Are we using the freedom that we've received, or we're just letting it go by the wayside?
Exactly. I agree. These are questions that should be asked still. And really, when we look at the term education, I always question it. It said, okay, educate in what? Because when we talk about progress, we have not moved much a needle in decades. Yeah, there are some people that go to school more and other, but is there really progress for the black people? That we throw our hat, so this is progress. And we have not moved an inch in all the areas that will keep us in, if we're going to be permanent underclass or out of this underclass situation that they create for us.
It's funny that during Juneteenth, slavery was allegedly abolished in Texas, and in the South, which, if you really think about it, it's funny, the South was in armed conflict against the North and did not recognize authority, which if you think about that, like, did you really free us, or are you really trying to give us a little bit of incentive? And even to this day, I call it a trick bag because the 13th Amendment didn't totally abolish slavery since it's punishable for a crime. So they can legally put people in bondage as a punishment for a crime. And who's the number one victim of these bondage or these prisons? Black men. Mm-hmm. Do we trade our slave clothing for a jumpsuit? Mm-hmm. Do we fight the system? Do we use our freedom to truly be free, or just be comfortable, a little bit more comfortable in our oppression? There are certain questions that have to be asked that I think on the whole is kind of like some dirty little secrets that the government and the community does not want to tell. Are we looking at economics first? Do we look at family first? Or do we look out for just self? Because there's no such thing as rugged individualism. Even if you make it out the hood, you're still going to be treated as a nigga.
Yeah.
I don't care how much money, you're always going to, the one beautiful thing about America, you're always going to get that nigga wake-up call.
All the time.
And for those who do make it, are we using any type of pipelines to bring more out of the obsolescence and out of the bondage? How far do you think we really have come? Yes, I remember hearing when shout out to Torian Rain, when he had an interesting video about, I forget which, the Speaker of the House said that black people don't deserve reparations. They already had it with a black president and civil rights. But it seems like in 2019, we're the least benefiting from it.
Exactly.
How can a middle class, even rich white woman be considered a minority? How can a gay person be called a protected class? How can immigrants from other countries benefit from rights that were fought, died, and probably even killed over by the American black? Are we allowed to open up businesses and not pay taxes for almost a decade? Are we allowed to live in, are we allowed to live in neighborhoods that are not crime-ridden, trash-ridden? Or are we scared in the corner like a scolded stepchild? It makes you think. So what's your take?
My take is this. Because I never told you before, Charles, that I didn't know of the existence of a Juneteenth until later on in my life. And when I found out what it really was, I always think back and say, how I, of many men in this country, didn't know that even the actual time when the slaves were actually released until as they got older in life. You think this is something that will be reminiscent and a focus that, okay, you were removed physically, but there's still more work to be done. That's my thinking. And one thing people, they continue to fight to a degree until after civil rights. And after that, it's like everybody went to sleep. I don't know if I'm right or wrong from saying that. Because you still haven't got what is owed.
Yeah.
And one more thing, I'm going to say this. There was a hearing now on reparations Friday, right?
Right.
Now, isn't it ironic, after the Juneteenth passed, now they decide to have a sit-down and talk with other black people, either ones that slavery or whoever was under, give or take, now want to hear about reparations. And let me fix. Okay.
I was going to say real quick, sorry for interrupting. That's because black people are slowly but surely getting off the tit of the Democratic Party. We're no longer taking full milk. We shut down 4 candidates for the presidency, and we said, hell no. You haven't. What have you done for me lately? Think about it. You may have freed us from antebellum slavery, but you didn't free us from systematic racism. You didn't make us even when it came to economics. You didn't give us truly a fair, even with civil rights. We still have redlinings in cities like Baltimore, Chicago, New York, and other places where you could literally be across the street from a house. Your house would be worth $60,000, $70,000. That house could be worth $250,000 to $300,000. And we all know one of the greatest builders of economic and wealth
is home ownership.
So how the hell is it that we come and we celebrate this alleged freedom, but we're not free economically, we're not free we're not free financially, we're not free educationally, we're not even free socially? Do we live to be a stereotype, or do we live to be better? Your thoughts?
My thought, I think our people live in the moment. They want to live comfortably in regards to not push the buttons of other races, especially white people in this country. I feel as long as they get close proximity, that's enough. The majority of our people, and I say majority nicely because that's how I see it. In regards to really what it's rightfully to do, there are people today, Charles, they feel they don't deserve it, and they feel they should continue to fight. And here's one thing. Kendall did a video today on this. And what she said, I had to totally agree. And it's hard to tell people to go back to it. I'm not sure it's still up. But if you feel you don't deserve what is rightfully yours, then sign your will and give to whoever, if you get it, to somebody else.
Exactly.
That's my answer to it.
It's like the old saying goes, I don't think black people have a fear of failure. I think they have a fear of being powerful beyond belief. I think they have a fear of success. One, they don't think they deserve it, and two, they feel ashamed being better than people around them. The one thing I always hated was the word humble. Why is it that the black man and black woman got to be humble? You don't tell the Caucasian to be humble. You don't tell the Jew to be humble. You don't tell the Asian to be humble. You don't tell the Arab to be humble. But the black person in America has to be humble. We got to wait till our reward comes when we die. I think it also starts from our religious beliefs. We always think that we're going to get our reward through suffering. If I got to wait till I die to get any type of reimbursement, reparations, or any reciprocity, then it's a religion I don't need. It has set us back 50 to 100 years in some parts. It was a great tool during the civil rights. But after civil rights, I think it's been re-engineered to really set us back and keep us docile. You don't have that warrior spirit that you saw during the 60s. and 70s. You have a docile black man and black woman who's okay with maximizing the minimal. So I ask, are we any better then than we are now? We have people who can't even afford, decent living quarters. How the hell in 2019 we still got people living in projects? How the hell is that? I mean, can somebody correct me if I'm wrong? And yeah, we could look at BJ Triple X. Are you talking without the white interference? There's always white interference, but we've always overcome despite of white interference. That's what makes the American black the greatest creature that God ever created. We had all things against us. Think about it. The Native American couldn't do it. The Asian couldn't do it. We're the only black people ever that never retreated their whole land. So, excuse me that with or without white interference. Here's the part that people don't understand. You don't even need white interference in the black community anymore because we'll go out of our way to interfere with our own shit. The white man has said, look, my work here is done. I planted the seeds. Y'all grow it.
Mm-hmm.
Are we looking out for the next generation? Are we taking the next generation under our wing to make sure we can have something better? And if you ever notice, Chaos, we're like damn near the only people that don't want to see the next generation do better.
It's sad. I have to agree on that.
Are we still grooming leaders, or are we just still praying for them? We're hoping somebody's going to take up the slack.
I think our people are waiting for somebody to do the work that should have been continued done. To be honest with you. Because the fight is never ending. You get me, Charles?
Yeah, it's never going to end. And I'm glad you said that. It's like the war that will never end. You are more American than probably 90 to 95, maybe even 98% of white people in America. So it's your birthright to fight. This country will never get without you. And yes, really, okay? Really. Big J, nobody wants to hear you today. You have to look at it. We can talk about white interference all we want, but do we really have to buy things from white businesses? Or are we indoctrinated to do so? Do we still really believe the white man ice is colder? It's like I said on T.R.S. program. I said, here's the ugly little truth. Black people in America, 90% of your brain thinks like a white person.
Mm-hmm.
How many black people think that whites give a superior product?
They think it's more superior coming from them.
They can literally give you shit on a stick, and there are black people out there who think it's a superior product.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the fact of the matter is, are we seeing changes? Are we going to the better, or are we going to the worse? We're about the same age, Chaos. We're like the last generation of community parenting.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Would you? We don't even give a fuck about our communities like that. Like we don't take pride in it. We mind our business. We're not as open. We're not a clan anymore. We're just rugged individuals. We're just solitary. Once upon a time, you go into a neighborhood, oh, that's your cousin. Not a blood drop related to him, but I was your family. Mm-hmm. And we gotten away from that. We've gotten away from the true sense We can't even really call ourselves the black community anymore. We're just the black people who just live near each other.
Just neighborhoods, black people.
Just neighborhood.
And so that neighborhoods we don't own. If we want to keep it honest.
Yeah. Yes, we have a lot of fucked up, like BGS has shown when they were doing predatory contracts for houses where black people were paying twice as much. But black people have fought that. And for some reason, when the generation above you fights, it seems like we think the fighting stops. We're doing less and less fighting.
Some of us don't even put fight at all now, if you think about it.
Oh, what you say?
Some of us don't even put no effort at fighting just the small things. Hey, we don't fight for our own children.
No, we don't. We don't. As a whole, we don't. How is it for all these years, you see your kids, your sons going to prison, your girls getting mistreated? Where's the overhaul? You go to schools, how many people have been to their boards of education? So I've been to schools, and you'll notice it could be 1,000, 3,000 students. You only see like 20 parents.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are we really that particular? So, just tell you're severely depressed. No, you don't. A lot of y'all talk this good shit that we really want our kids to do better. And a lot of you are fucking liars. I've seen it every day at my job. Half of you are ready to throw your kids out once they get a certain age.
Yes.
We pride ourselves. Once they 17, 18, they could get out. You're not preparing them for adulthood. What is it? I won't even tell you how many times I've seen mothers throw their daughters out because they thought the daughters was talking to the boyfriend. I won't tell you how many fathers are damn near about to get in fistfights with their son instead of teaching their sons out of frustration.
Mm-hmm. And another thing, because most mothers are around their children more than anything else, that, I always wonder what are they teaching. Even if they're doing any teaching nowadays, which really is obsolete because I don't see it, to be honest with you, Charles. I mean, if you look at most of the boys today, and it's like this, you could tell where, let's say your son's going if you don't put enough investment in them.
I think that's the problem. We got out of just wanting to invest for better. We want the here and now. We don't want to put in the sweat equity. We don't want to wait and put the time into it.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your take on it when it comes to looking for the betterment?
Okay. Well, the one thing I find that a challenge are people to really, it's like this, and this is me, when I'm talking about serious about our people. They don't want no solutions, Charles. I'm just keeping it dead honest, serious, because the little problems that either man or woman face, either children or whatever, can easily be resolved by doing the opposite, I mean, if they're looking for help, there are ways to get help, But to sit there ask for solutions, I mean, I just don't see it. This is like I said before, our people have the potential to change it around, do a lot of things. You get me? And they just refuse to do what's necessary, It's like this. Go ahead.
Of course, we've accomplished great things despite having the world against us.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like it's not in our DNA, in our history. We have to really believe that we are capable of doing great things again. We have to actually put in the work. I A lot of people want to be goofy and just be contradictory, but that's the truth. We have to put in the work.
Before we continue, let me give the call number. Give me 1 second, Charles.
It's
the call
funny.
number for tonight's show is 712-770-4160. The access code is 915-411-pound. I repeat, 712-770-4160. Access code 915-411-pound. Tonight's subject, we deal with progress and what progress was made on the origins of Juneteenth with my guest, Charles Fauklner Jr. Now, Charles, during that same hearing, and I didn't watch the hearing, but I know Miss Kendall, and one of the days I got to have her on the show, possibly.
Okay.
It's going to be a challenge to have her on the show. But, yeah, I'm serious. Yeah, it's going to be rare because as much as most of the men I have on it is good, but I always want a take from a woman, and I'm saying that's using common sense.
That's a great woman to her opinion of.
Yeah. It's going to be very challenging to get her on this show, but I'll try to see what I could do. But she mentioned one Spanish dude. No, I don't think it was him, but I think Amiri told me this. One Spanish dude, a Puerto Rican, said that black people don't deserve reparations. Don't need reparations.
And who said that?
Huh?
And who said that fuckery?
A Puerto Rican that was on the same table all through the hearing about the reparations.
This is what you need to tell. Mine is fucking business. You chose your side.
Mm-hmm.
You don't tell the Jew, we're still paying the Jews for the Holocaust. Hey, we gave the Jews a fucking country that was not theirs. Mm-hmm. We gave the Asian Americans after World War II money for each child, woman, man. We've given reparations to illegal immigrants. So I always wondered that it's this sense that black people don't deserve this. Even if black people spend up all the goddamn money, use up all the resources, so the fuck what? Mm-hmm. So what? So what? Mm-hmm. And Roberta, I'm a grown-ass man. I will say what comes out of my mouth as I please. Thank you. By the way, you live in a psychosis if you think everything I said was a lie. Now back to the story. Mm-hmm. I get real tired of people trying to say, well, black people don't deserve, like we're some ill-gotten children. Mm-hmm. Maybe a lot of our progress would begin, at least in a better starting point, if we were as economic stable as everybody else is in this country. Maybe if we had the ownership of land and houses, we would actually be able to build our own communities the way we like and see fit. But to tell us we don't deserve this, that's like telling white people, well, you're not really Americans. Go back to Europe. That's your land. Well, wait a minute there. We defended this country. Not like us. So if there's nobody more American than the black American, so here's the issue. Do you say that to everybody else when they're looking for justice? Were you told the gays, did you ever tell the gays they don't have a right to be married? Mm-hmm. Did you tell rich white women they're not a minority, which they're not, by the way? Mm-hmm. And guess what? Big J Triple X. You know what's funny? You're the one who spouted out your mouth about white interference, but you don't worry about the white man day to day. Because you can check what he wrote up there.
I mean, but, I want to focus too much in the chat room. I'll look at it later.
That's why I try my best not to focus on it. But here's the point of it. We can still do greatness. We just got to believe in ourselves in our community. We can't settle for less.
Yes.
We cannot have an obsolete mindset. We have to actually put efforts. Hell, you got to work for shit that you may never live to see.
Exactly.
The race issue is not going to be a 100% thing. But we say that all the time, but we also want to holler out injustice everywhere too, don't we? So it's either white interference is affecting us as a whole every day, or we don't think about it at all. We can't pick a struggle, can we? So we need to have a direct, unified coalition towards education, towards home ownership, towards rebuilding the clan or the family, towards building the future. We're going to have to become unified because this is pretty much the last stop for black people in America. While white supremacy around us is crumbling.
Mm-hmm.
This is the last stop. Either we take advantage of this, or you're going to put yourself in a spot where it may take even longer to crawl from.
Very longer. You know what I'm saying? And depending if you're still black, if you don't get ag metric in, where, you know, that's it. What's that? Create more confusion.
You don't want to go the way of the Native American. You're mixed into the group that you don't even know what a black face looked like in America in about 100 years if we keep this pace up. Think about it.
Yeah. You're going to see that type of homogenous Negro. They're going to say, oh, look at this pretty Negro with so-called light hair, stringy hair, some recessive eyes, some pale brown, or, you know, depending what complex skin they got. Because people are very attracted by that, you know. And, you know, someone said, let me erase my blackness and so take pride in it. Go ahead.
It's going to be the darkest guy in the world is going to be Steph Curry in America. Like, imagine that. Shit. Like, that's the three things of how to get rid of unwanted people. You either commit genocide, which after World War II people kind of don't like. You deport. But once again, we're citizens, and we have more ties to America than most whites, if not almost all of them. 3, you assimilate them into your communities, that's why you see the gentrification. So, you know, the black boys can date the white girls, and the white girls, the white boys date the black girls, and get you all intermingled and all that great stuff, right?
Yeah, man. So now I got a Becky. I'm happy. You know, Negroes smile happy. They be grinning. Like
the biggest prize in the world is to get a Becky. What the fuck? Really? Shit,
like I said,
Becky.
damn, you smile hard, my nigga. Like I said, you're the best in the world.
Like, goddamn.
And don't get me wrong. I mean, people could choose. I mean, I'm not advocate, but, you know, men are going to do what they're going to do and women are going to do. But, you know, you should not be doing it because you feel it's going to be a come up. Like, you know, you're still going to be a nigger. Man, I don't give a fuck what you say.
Yeah, you split niggas. Like, you think one of the most dangerous black wake-up calls is when you're dating somebody outside the race. It's been proven. You go into other communities, you think this kumbaya shit is for real that they taught you in school, and it's not.
Yeah, worse. And you think about it, Charles, and I know I'm ruffling some feathers. You don't understand, if the European is on his way out, right, then the next stage is the Asians in power, right? And no one said, people didn't know, and I think what the BJ did a stream on this, not a stream, but like a little video of the population grow up too now, you know? And I'm thinking, say, the only people that's going to be around on the earth is the black man, black woman, if they get their minds right, you know? That's why there's such a push, a race to who's going to be around in the next century or two. This is a push now that's being quiet. That's not being talked about enough. They tell you briefly, but they keep it in secret enough. You hear a little article here talk about the population less growth of other nations. You understand me? But when it comes to us, we don't have these issues. The only time when we have a decline is what they're doing systematically and physically to us.
Think about it. The only reason black people in America have a decline in population is because of, one, abortion, and two, health. You know, they're giving us the poor health conditions. Mm-hmm. White people just ain't producing. They even had a study, even in Europe, where 50% of the men in Europe were sterile.
Yeah.
So it's safe to say. Yeah. It's safe to say in America, you might see the same thing with white men. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
And you can tell how they're praising a few white men that's still able to knock up people, like the Sperminator. How they have news articles and they're praising it because they know they're up their decline. When they find this white man's able to pregnant 50 or more women, it's like praising their community. Like, yay, yes, yes. When we find a Negro have these men, can say, why you do that? Why would you want to do that?
Yeah.
I tell people this is a numbers game. This ain't no joke here, man.
It's always a numbers game. When they're more, think about it. They got scared at the numbers in certain states of the Negroes when they freed us. They thought they were scared of minds that we were going to overturn the system. But the reasonable subterfuge and the indoctrination was so strong, we fell back in line. Excuse me.
Like good slaves. You know what I'm saying?
Slaves. See, you're not a slave when you're in chains. Yeah. You're a slave when you see an open field and you don't move. It's like the elephant with the rope tied around his neck when it's a baby. It's a little sapling. It's a little tree. When he's an adult, he's this great big Herculean monster. And he could easily rip that tree out and throw it away several yards away. But because he was conditioned a certain way, he's gonna feel as though that tree is the same thing holding him back as when he was younger.
I agree. Yeah. And you think about it, and I only mention the Sperminator as an example because when they talk about mediocrity and guilt, it shows that when they talk about bastardization, and I think about Charles, when we look at the black man, and a lot of black women should understand this is not a normal phenomenon that black men just go around create bastard babies out of it. Like this is his nature for centuries. This is something that we've been trained and indoctrinated because we look at the person that's perpetrating the most, this is where we get it from. You know?
Yeah.
Because think about it. No matter how much of the brainwash we go on, how much of our kitchen and how we behave, we are still labeled better fathers. Yeah. Ain't that something?
Yeah.
So I tell you, if we better fathers, then why is it that most women, firstly, don't understand and say, this man is not only a better father, but he doesn't give a crap about what he does.
Yeah. I mean,
don't say that they go hand in hand because he has a system in place that financially, but that's pretty much it. You take away that, he's nothing.
Yeah. It's pretty much believing in hype or believing the book even better. It's really just a bunch of stereotypical bullshit and narratives to get separation from the black man and woman. Well, he's not really doing this good. She's not that. She's ratchet. She's this. Guess what? Pick one that's right for you. Pick one that's going to help you grow. Nobody can make you happy. They can only increase your happiness or decrease it. But pick one that's going to be right for your lifestyle that you can grow. And hopefully that lifestyle will be a healthy one. Yeah. But we don't vet, nor do we actually court anymore. We don't get to know and value each other's non-sexual time and preferences. we have a very highly, especially in today's world, we have a highly sexualized narrative going on. To sleep with as many people as possible. I'm not knocking it, but you must be aware of consequences that can pursue with it. If you're not aware of those consequences, don't get mad when the consequences hit you back.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of saying, you know what, focus on yourself, focus on your family, focus on rebuilding yourself in the community, we have a lot of selfish, self-reliant goals. We talk about the black community, but we don't really believe in it.
Yeah, that's a weakness.
We truly don't.
And you can tell what we don't believe about because we don't deserve what is owed to us. That's when you know how much we don't believe in each other. Like it's a sin to ask what is rightfully yours. And I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I have a big problem with that. It's owed to you because it's your birthright. You build this country.
It's like that commercial. It's my money and I want it now.
Mm-hmm.
That is your birthright. Stop treating it like we don't deserve this. This is what your ancestors have fought for. This is what you go through today. This is the way you're going to rebuild yourself, your children, and your community.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot go and say, hey, we're doing fine, but, you know, majority of us are poor. You know, we're having bad credit. We're having issues. You know, and people want to say is like, well, there are some rich black people. Yeah, it's such a small percent that it doesn't matter. If you're suffering, if your people are suffering, you're not too far behind.
Mm-hmm.
You can make $100,000. This is especially in this day and age. Hell, you can make $100,000 and still live paycheck to paycheck.
You can make that with paycheck to paycheck now, right?
Yeah, we could.
Yeah, because you know you're right. Because with certain jobs people take now, like people that's in tech or stuff, they're making that like yearly now. Think about it. So it's like another paycheck. Think about it.
Yeah, you're not as stable as you really think you are. They said the average black family has, 30 days of savings? The average white has about 6 months to a year. Like, he could literally wait a year before he has to do something to figure out his house. And we don't, and we're kept out of fucking capital. Shit. Those are very important subjects we gotta figure out. People may disagree with me, but it doesn't make what I'm saying any less true.
Yeah. And sometimes they will look at you, Charles, and say, "Oh, you go too hard, brother. You know, you don't have faith in our people." Why you would say certain things like that? We are making progress, brother. And so we talk about Juneteenth is our holiday, regardless of the majority don't know about it. Until we look it up ourselves. We're doing something here, bro.
Shit, Juneteenth should have been a national holiday. If this is really the land of the free and the home of the brave, why not separate the ultimate act of freedom? But when you call somebody out on their bullshit, they kind of want to hide it. So, yeah.
Yeah. And another thing I would say this. People don't understand wealth is really determined by policy. And this is something I never tell a lot of people this. And this is my conclusion. That's why when they keep pushing the illusion that you could get rich and wealthy in this country, yeah, you could, but you only go so high because as long as they put policy in place, they cap out a lot of people. That's why if you look at most majority corporations, they're actually really the wealthiest ones because the policy protects them.
Mm-hmm.
It protects so much that they could siphon your check, your savings, and your 401k, and don't owe you shit.
Yeah. Think of what happens when companies merge or something, sweet. You could literally be out, and then you have automation on its way. Good God. Think of how many people are going to be out without work.
Shit, I don't want to imagine.
That's going to be a scary time, man.
Yeah, it's going to be a very bloody time, too.
Yeah.
Because people react more in desperation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be a desperate time, man.
And you can see the real beast in people, to be honest with you.
I pray that we don't get there, but it's going to be a desperate time if they keep up to the pace what they have now.
Yeah, man. I just don't like it, man. Yeah. And I'm not really a scared person, to be honest with you, because as a man, you can never be scared in adversity or danger. Because anytime you show an inch of fear, you're done. That's when you know that they have nothing, most of these you Negroes, is because they got you by fear. And said, let me start put fear in them. Let me put the fear of God in them and see how they react. And look, lo and behold, you calm and you act like a child, a quiet little puppy.
Well, you gotta be bold as a lion, man.
And you see, that's why I kind of respect now people that listen to service, because you have to show a sense of courage and brave and no fear. Because if you have an inch of fear, you're not going to be no good to your soldier, your fellow soldiers, but to your commander or to the nation at all. Because the first thing all they have to do is apply a small bit of pressure, Charles, and you're going to squeal into every business.
Yeah.
Before they kill you.
It goes right back into what we said about, are we any better? Are we still fighting? Do we even see a fight? Or do we treat it like, we already had our black president, we don't live in a racist world anymore, we good.
We good.
Hell, even during when the man was in office, you had great acts of racism and treachery. What the hell? We keep thinking that, well, we're gonna be good as long as we're nice to our neighbors. That's not true.
And that's bullshit.
Especially when they fucking hate us.
Mhm.
They hate us, and they will put it out there to say they hate us. There's so much jealousy of the black man. And it's not even just jealousy. It's, if I can't have it, you can't either.
Facts. And it's like this. If I can't have this nation, you will not have it either.
Yeah.
Still clinging on to power. And I give these people credit, because no matter how much it looks like it is still rap for them, they're going to still hang on to power by any means necessary.
Very true.
Yeah. And see, I tell people you do not know your adversary well, And I know what he'll do, and when he does, he'll do things desperate to still win in his failure. Even if you look at white guilt, white failure. If you look at even the business section of how they operate business, it's a failure if you think about it. Charles.
Dude, you gotta look at it. It's like a desperate, wounded animal that just wants to destroy everything in its path. This economic downturn could have been avoided. It could have been avoided greatly if they actually would have done two things. if they would have gave reparations to black people,
Mm-hmm.
if they would have gave reparations to black people, and if they actually would have gave and developed Africa. Now, they do all this shit when, the Chinese are coming. Now they want to do it, and the rest of the world is like, yeah, America, get completely the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
You pretty much sealed your fate. When there's two things you could have done. You could have gave black people their earned due, their reparations, their financial, their economical, their financial, the home ownership, the expungement of debt, and criminal records. Free college, free development of land, free land. I mean, there's so much you could have done and reaped the benefits of it, but you still wanted to see the world burn around you instead of saving it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a damn shame, man.
It's a very much a fucking thing, you know. And, you know, I expect, but you see, when you deal with an animal, this is what an animal does. It operates like it is, you know, constantly eating and destroying everything that moves. It won't know that really when to stop when he knows that both his legs are cut off and it can't move no more.
I'm still trying to come after you.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you don't get it before them, that's all they care about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But, you know, I feel like open this up a little bit. Let me see what time it is. Let me get other people to come on. Let me check if anybody raised their hand. If not, we can keep talking. Oh, yes. I have one card. Let's take this card. Yashua? Is that you?
Damn, Gary. Dude, waiting for a long time, bro.
Well, you know, this is not open conversation. You know, we have to talk a little bit before everybody start opening up. You know how
well, I know it was an open conversation, but, you know, it's just, like, weird. But anyway, yeah, what's your topic, man? I mean, I see you're jumping around here, so I wasn't quite sure where I was coming from. But
I talking about Congress and then parts of Juneteenth.
Say it again. Okay. Well, I did hear something about the reparations hearing, kind of with the, you know, this is the thing. I'm gonna say this. I'm trying to make this real short. You know, the people who were during that panel, they shouldn't have been there. That's the bottom line with that. They shouldn't have been there. Period. I think that we need. You know, black economists there, they should have been on that panel. I think that black historians should be on that panel. That way they can give you a history on why we're making a case, or why we're saying what we're saying about reparations. You know, as far as that, because you can't talk about repairing anything if you don't got a case. First you got to present your case. I think the stuff I saw so far was just a bunch of personal stuff. You know, the young guy that went up there talking about, you know, we don't deserve it. It's going to make it's going to cause our country to, in fact, be more separated and all that. Then he was talking about, you know, a bunch of other stuff that he put in there. I'm not going to go into what he was saying, but it was absurd what he was saying. That was the one. Then you had the ex-football player up there. He up there talking. I'm like, dude, no. I mean, some people don't have the opportunity that you have been playing football. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, you know, and he's out there talking about we shouldn't have it. I mean, it's a bunch, but those people don't need to be up there for what? Why are you even there?
Because
you know,
they pick
right, and they picked them. Yeah, right, right.
People who who have been paid off by white society.
Yeah.
Who really think psychologically that they're accepted by whites. Oh, you know, I have plenty of white friends.
Yeah.
And but I'll always ask this question: give me one white person who would trade in their whiteness for your blackness.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You didn't notice you didn't have any poor black people. Where's the mothers? Where's the single mothers with 3 kids in the projects barely making it?
Right.
Where's the struggling black male college student?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the guy who went to prison, served his time, and he just wants an honest living. He wants to be a mechanic. He wants to do something to give back.
Right. Mm-hmm.
We don't have real stories up there. We have a bunch of people who've been
then what they had up there, too, Charles, something else they did too. They had Danny Glover. I mean, Danny Glover, nice guy, good actor. He had some activism. He did some activism down the line. That's fine, but he's still an entertainer. He's very. I mean, I do like some cases the things that he do say. I do like them, but at the same time, he's an entertainer, and he should have been up there. He should have been up there. Period. John Legend should have been. I mean, and Ta-Nehisi Coates was there, but I suspected more out of him. But I guess you get what you get from him. But like this is why I said that it should have been more. It's a couple of historians, black economists should have been there. Like Darity should be on that panel. It's another black economist that deals with reparations. He should have been up there. Dr. Claude Anderson, he should be on that panel. They only want to deal with him.
They're not going to get that, but you know why.
Right, yeah, exactly, yeah.
There should be not only those gentlemen and esteemed gentlemen and ladies, there should have been families or black people who should have pictures of their family homes being burnt down by the Klan. They should have the victims of people who were in the military being hung in the survivors of those people who were hung in their military uniforms in the goddamn country. It's funny how black man and black woman, think about it. I think it was the 6888 or the 8666. I got to ask Cerulean next time the unit's number. That was the only all-black female unit who ever served in war.
Yeah, they were called WACs, yeah. I remember that, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Think about it.
I don't remember, but I read about them, yeah.
Think about it. We had black men called the liberators who liberated Jews from the worst camps.
Yeah.
And the first thing I would say, let's cut all the bullshit. We liberated you from your Holocaust. Liberate us from ours.
Right, yeah. Matter of fact, they could have had the family of Perkins. The young man was named Anthony Perkins, and he had all this property and land in South Carolina, and he went to go do a business deal downtown, and apparently the business deal didn't go very well for white males, and he told them no, that they offered him a business deal, and he told them no, and they got mad with him, and they said it started from inside the office where we're at. Then a altercation started, and they beat him from the inside the office, outside the office, and they ended up lynching him. Then later after that, they took all his property. Now they told his family in a letter to get out of town, and so that family, his descendants who are still living, are still talking about that, and they should have been there to tell that story. You see,
you can't get a bunch of boule people who hobnob with champagne. Like you're the American dream. The rest of black people are the American dreamers.
Yeah.
We're never given. Think about it. There should never be a homeless vet, especially not a veteran. How many people have lost their homes due to predatory practices?
Right.
And look at the fucking 90s and 2000s. All the black people who lost who lost property. Look at during World War II and hell, even in the 20s, when the Klan was 20 million deep.
Yeah.
You owe us not only that interest, but every year, increase of inflation. You owe us land. You owe us resources. You owe us your goddamn blood. Because we should put our blood on the line for you.
Right.
And that's historical.
Yeah, man. So that's really all I had to say, man. I can go on, but I'm going to back out and let somebody else, call in or whatever the case might be. But But yeah, that's all I had to say, man. But I think it was, this is just the beginning, and I do want to say something else too. Then we got to deal with ourselves. We got to deal with all this bickering and drama between ADOS and Cobra. And you got the other brothers who are bickering with ADOS and Cobra. They bickering with both groups. So I think that's another issue too. That all of them need to come together as one and agree with what they agree with and use that. So I think that needs to happen too. But because we got a lot of drama too within ourselves with this issue. One group was going to claim they did it first. This group want to claim that right now they're the best. All this dumb, childish stuff. So, but that needs to be dealt with too. But this is just the beginning. This was one of the first years of me that's going to happen. So that's all I have to say, man. I'm pretty much done. Thanks, man.
Yeah, but here's the positive part before you go, unless he already went.
No, I'm still here. Go ahead.
Here's the positive part that we could take out of this. For many years, hundreds of years, they refused to give it. They even give us a hearing. Now they gave us a hearing. Now they're desperate. They're gonna have to pay what they owe, like they say on the Boondocks, you're gonna have to pay what you owe. Think about it. You already passed the first step, which was the first hearing. Now you see what the hell they're going to give us. Now you can react accordingly.
Right. Yeah.
So there's some positive that came out of it. Yes, it was a circus in a lot of parts, but here's the positive one. They had to sit down and they had to listen. We can get back to our warriorship because, hell, we told the Democratic Party, kiss our black asses.
Yeah.
We turned down 4 of your candidates. Kiss our ass. We're tired of this round. We don't give a fuck if Trump's back in that seat or not. Kiss our ass.
Yeah, you know what? But I do want to say this too. That I hear a lot of people. There are certain people out there saying that this as a protest that they wouldn't vote, and I'm not opposed to that strategy. And let me tell you why. Because just to make a point to get a damn point across, it would say, you know what? I'm not voting because of this. It might not be down the long run. It might be the best strategy, but then, as we see in politics, do it in some cases it doesn't really matter because it takes when the president or Congress puts something in place, it takes several years before it actually starts to kick in. But at the same time, I'm not upset with people when they say that. I hear people say that. I always tell people, encourage people to still to vote, but at the same time, I'm not opposed to this as a strategy for people to say the hell with this. If you don't want to do what we ask of you, you don't want to come to deal with our agenda in our situation, then why should we continue to vote for you? You know what I'm saying?
I'm a little bit disagreeing to that because I think we give our vote out too freely.
Yeah. Say it again?
I think we give out our vote too freely.
We do. Yeah.
We either pick good mayors and good city council members and good state's attorneys. We don't do it. And that's presidency, unless it's an executive order, everything else he enacts takes time. When you need a city council or a board of education, that's where your vote takes immediate consequences or some type of repercussions. You should hold your vote back and say, fuck this shit. You know what? If we don't find somebody, why would I just vote for anybody?
Right.
Because I think looking to vote, and the problem with our vote or giving our vote out is that we think voting is the only part of the political process that we need to do. We don't lobby. We don't promote any candidates. We don't vet them. We think voting is, and that's about it.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah. My aunt was telling me this the other day. We were talking about that, and she was saying that she showed up at here in Delaware. They had where you go to talk with the officials the elected officials, and she knows when she went in there, it wasn't by any but white people. And when she went there, she said that she didn't know that they held these hearings like this. And so they give you a right at these hearings, they give you a right to say yay or nay, or they give you a right to vote against it, or they give you a right at that point, at the time, to go and state your opinion. And she was saying that she didn't know. And she said, and maybe that a lot of other black people have known about it, but they don't go. And she said that was something that should be that here in the state of Delaware, that they should be trying to participate in, because they do a lot of stuff. They pass a lot of things, and it affects black people. If we're not there to, in fact, to counter it or say, no, we're not doing that, or no, this is what we're going to do. This is our opinion. This is our suggestion. So she was telling me about that. And it kind of makes sense to me. And so right now, the biggest fight here, they try to bring it back to death penalty, which is they have two. They have the lethal injection, and they have, guess what? They still got the hanging post. That was originally what they had in the state of Delaware. It was the hanging post for the death penalty. So people, so they want people to vote against it. They're trying to bring it back. That's something here in the state of Delaware. I'm not sure what states that you and Gary are at, but this is what's going on here. And there's some other stuff too that they were doing here as far as business and monies that they give out for business and for investments and stuff like that. And she was said when she walked in there, they kind of looked at her like they say, well, how is she getting here? You see, so it's funny. So they do a lot of things, and I'm sure in every state that they have that, and people are not attending or even knowing that they can attend to those type of hearings and say, no, I object to that. You see, so I just wanted to say that. So, but I'm backing out. Hopefully this time for good, Charles, if you don't keep talking. So, so I'm gonna back out.
Thank you, Joshua.
Okay.
All right. Let me open. I think this is Sarge. Let me see. This is Sarge. Is that you, Sarge?
Hey, what's going on, man? JMLC, brother. How you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah, what you guys is talking about, I think you had this guest in the past, and we didn't agree on a few things. Today, I definitely agree 100% on what he's saying. What Yashua was saying, I definitely, I really got not much to say. Y'all pretty much put it in, in perspective. I think that definitely the people that were up there shouldn't be there. They should be having advocates, people that are going to support it. Why have people that are going to shoot something down? And I'm pretty sure that was strategic. It wasn't for the people that's trying to get it. It's probably to fight against it. So, I think that and final, I'll say this, like other people has been speaking and saying in the past that, you know what, I haven't seen a conversation like this being brought up on this scale. So I think that this is the time. So whoever has said this on the show in the past, I'm seeing exactly what they're talking about, and this is the time to take full advantage. It's out there. It's on the spotlight. I've never seen it at this scale before. It's time to move on shit, and it's gonna take a united people, to make this shit happen. So I definitely commend anybody that's trying to push it forward. And give people their due. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that suffered that weren't able to get what they deserve or compensated in whatever way. People lost their lives, lost families, property, all type of shit, their freedom. And it's time to give back, for the people. And this is not even a give. This is what people earn and again, lost their lives, blood, sweat, and tears. It's only right. If you really want to fix America, and it ain't going to be the end all be all, but it's a great first step to try and, if you want to say reconcile and understand and accept, the faults of America, white America, that has caused a lot of stuff and that has benefited, okay? All these people that's living a good life, all these people that have been entitled, did it all off the backs of others. So it's only right to get the record straight or set the record straight and compensate the people, the assets for the ancestors and families that suffered and put in the work and overworked for the future of this country. I'll leave it there, brother. Good conversation, Gary. Good show.
And it's funny, Jay, that when a person said Puerto Rican men was on that same discussion said that black people don't deserve reparations. And let's really think, and it's only one man, we can't really judge it, but let's say for the sake of conversation that this is a Brown correlation, right? That, this is what black people are, and for him I think they picked this dude or something, and then him express said that black people deserve nothing that's owed. It's actually a big slap in the face, if you think about it. A huge slap in the face. And we always want to say, why y'all here? I always question that. Well, it's not surprising nowadays because people that's not from this country, like most of the black people here for a generation, should not be speaking on behalf. That's my thing. But anyway. Anybody else calling in?
You're right. You're 100% right, Gary. Like I said, man, good show, good subject matter. I definitely, give it up to your guests. Said some powerful things, Yahshua, and this conversation needs to continue and actually flourish into something, concrete. But this is where it starts. So I'll sit back and listen. Good show, bro.
All right, thank you. Yeah, Charles, man. And it's like this, Charles. The conversation that a lot of people don't think it should be had, but it has to be ongoing talking, and eventually it's going to lead to something. Because think about it, we do have their attention now, unfortunately, And now they're just trying to find ways to how we could still put these people on our favor, And I'm saying, for you to want to be on the grace of black people, you're going to have to give them what it's rightfully due. There's no ifs and buts about it. You can't prolong this no longer. Anything less of what is owed to black people is not going to be accepted. Yeah. But, that's what I was saying. Guess somebody else is on the line. Let's go in the chat room a little bit. I'm going to take a look at the chat room now. And a lot of people said something. Monica! I was wondering, Monica, Mo, get your butt up here, girl. You know you want to call up in here, man. Huh? Mo. What's this? My issue now is that the younger politicians are making changes. We have too many crazy laws already. Hey, Monica, would you mind if you can call in and come upstairs to come discuss with Chaos and Mr. Fauklner Jr., please? Your expertise and your knowledge would be appreciated. I'm going to sit and read in the chat room. You there, Charles? Charles?
Make sure people didn't drop off, Gary, right? People probably fell or something.
Should be no problem.
Yeah, no, but you know how that line.
All right.
I'm back.
Yeah, I'm
back.
here. Yeah, check. Maybe sometimes. You know how it be acting up sometimes.
I didn't know you dropped off.
No, I'm good. I think your caller probably dropped off and your guest.
Yeah, he's back on.
He's on.
It's an interesting subject, because it's going to be very touchy, especially when it comes to this reparations, and that's ultimately where we have to go to the next battle, the next frontier for black people. Some people say space is the next frontier for black people. It's fucking reparations. Give us our just due. Hell, we've been way overdue. You can't say that, we're the land of opportunity when you shot our opportunities down. You got to make America look like the hypocrite it's been all this time. still there, Chaos?
Yeah, I'm here. Let me check the line. Make sure. I was reading wait, let me see if somebody else calling in. Who's this? I hope you're in line.
Oh, hey, Gary. Hey, y'all. How y'all doing?
I'm good. Hey. Oh, is that Monica? Is that you, Mo?
I called you because you asked me to.
You know you don't like to call in when I do shows, girl, because we think we'll put you on the spot. Don't you run, girl. You know, we better bring your butt up here, girl. Yeah. So what you want to take? Hey, remember, Mo, do you see that the reparations sit down the end of on Friday?
Yes. Yes.
What do you think on what you've seen so far?
It's a discussion, and they made it to Congress, and that's important that the conversation is out there. What I paid attention to, I knew that the panel wasn't going to be, of course, all in favor. That's too much like right. So, they have to have people that agree with them as well in there. But what I pay attention to, the conversation thereafter, how much publicity is it getting and who's saying what, and then how to move within. I think the guest said something in reference to the local council men and women and mayors. And so I pay attention to how it impacted my immediate area and what my city councils and mayors.
Sorry, I got to cut it for a second. Chaos. I got to go real quick. If you still got time, I'm trying to call back, okay?
Okay.
All right, thanks, man. Sorry about that.
All right.
No problem. Right, Gary. So I pay attention to how my local community community politicians reacted to it, and then how they're moving, and then making my decisions on those folks who are in the local area. Carolina just had this past weekend the South Carolina Democratic Convention, and all 21 Democratic presidents were here.
Okay.
And they spoke a little bit on it, the hearing, but what I supported is the fact that at least two of the representatives talked about the water issue, which happened at my alma mater college, Voorhees College, in the Denmark area. And so I kind of pay attention to how they're moving and what's going to work. I mean, how they're going to make their decisions. I had a conversation with a few people in the Black Caucus here in the Carolinas in reference to HR 40 before they had the hearing and how they felt. And it was an interesting conversation to the fact of everything you guys were saying earlier in reference to reparations and what is people going to do with their money. And I'm like, are you serious? You need to tell me that you all are not supporting these efforts, regardless of which way it's coming and how it's being presented, because you're worried about how somebody is going to spend their money. I don't understand. I don't hear
it. It make no sense.
Yeah. How do we get to this point? How do we get to this point that you don't support something because you're worried about how somebody's going to spend it? You're not saying I'm not going to support it because it's an unfair compensation or program. You're saying, oh, well, Monica, you're going to go buy a new car, so I don't want to give it to you even though it's due. I thought that was the craziest thing. I had the most difficult conversation with some of the politicians in reference to whether it's something that we should receive. And to my surprise, the uses, I mean, we know what the white folk going to say, but the uses who disagree is very disappointing, and I can't believe it. And I'm not talking about, a lot of people talk about Black immigrants. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about my buddies who I've stood next to all my life and friends and peers, and I'm like, are we serious? Did you guys just say that you hope that this bill does not pass? And so then I'll take it a step back with my friends and my immediate circle and say, okay, what about President Trump passed HR 1242, which is the bill for commemoration of the last 400 years of African Americans in this country from the time they stepped in in Freetown. And they're like, well, what is that? Oh, wait a minute. Push pause. You mean you don't even know what's going on in Congress? You don't even know what's in your favor, but you're shooting down things that could benefit you in the future. I don't understand. So you know, when it comes down to the bills and what's being presented to Congress, I'm always amazed that we give an opinion on whether or not you feel like somebody deserves something. I don't get that. That bothers me. And for the voting piece of it, whether or not we should withhold votes, you know, it's like to an individual discretion. I know here in the city council, in the Richmond County, and our county council, I know the benefits that we've gotten, but I've also seen the change of not voting. We've had, and I'll give you a case in point, and I'll be quiet so somebody else can speak. We had an election, I think about a year or two ago, and at the time, I think in 2014, I started working with nonprofits in the area. Start going to the county council meetings, get discretionary funds, all of that to support programs. I've watched, before Nikki Haley came in off governor of South Carolina, I've watched the discretionary money, which is grant money that's given down to nonprofit organizations, grassroots nonprofit organizations. I watched that fund go from $250,000 an awarded organization to $150,000 to $50,000 down to $30,000 down to $10,000. Right? Mm-hmm. And that's what voting did. When people did not step up and stand up for why that fund, that money was important to some of the organizations. I watched programs do it, or I watched, you know, different youth programs go away because the organizations who were receiving the discretionary money were no longer getting it, and people started going in an uproar. Last year was the first time I seen a county council be replaced or county councils get switched out, and watch them, instead of giving funding to the organization who was supporting summer programs for the youth, such as like summer camps and different things that the youth were involved with, withdraw that money and give it to other different projects that youth were not, the low and moderate income youth were not privy to. And so now we this summer you're left with low and moderate income type youth, or youth in the inner city, or youth in areas that don't have easily access for their or where their parents are working parents and they have no one to keep their kids during the summer. I watched those areas suffer dramatically. Why? Because people did not come out and vote during a county council election, thinking that the county council that was going to win, thinking they were automatically going to win. But then this young person comes in and sweep it up. That's why I made that comment, that young people are coming in and they're winning some of these seats. But instead of them standing on the shoulders of what worked in their community, they are changing laws based off of what they think might be better, and it's not. And so that's why I do not agree with withholding votes. Because one way or the other, something's going to benefit if we work at it. You know, we're very involved in the community. We're very involved, and I'm very involved with government because, for one, not just because we have the businesses in government contract, but for one, I'm a veteran. You know, so in more ways than one, I'm advocating on the youth side, I'm advocating on the veteran side, I'm advocating on that historical Black college side. You know, so all around. So that's my view in it. We need support, even if we got funding just to support our HBCUs. We need this support, and so I can't see me. I see me doing this. Okay, if a candidate gets in, that does not support reparations or does not favor that particular movement, right? And we are stuck with that person. Then I'm looking at, okay, what is on this person's agenda that we can leverage so that we can still kind of benefit in our situation that we're in. And if there is nothing, then by golly, back to the drawing board, right? We got to figure something out. And with everybody in government not going to be against something, we can work it. Like, for instance, and I'll say this last point, we have an emergency management right now in the Carolinas has money left over from the 2015 flood, right? Uh-huh. So I pushed out this weekend, hey, listen, we got one more quarter. There's money still left in this pot of money. If you are a nonprofit organization, you can apply for this. It's a 2-page application. I promise you can fill it out with your eyes closed, and you could go and help people in your community who need housing repairs. How many organizations have done it? I have no clue, but I can tell you I know many people who have not done it. So we have to really ask ourselves, are we really looking for help? Or do we really want reparations? And if we do, how can we benefit from it? And if they have programs out there right now that we can benefit from, are we taking advantage of them?
I see. Monica, one question. So you feel that our people should participate in the president 2020 election, and instead of reframe our vote, we should pick something, So and what I mean by something, I mean because you look at the 4 candidates were shot down of potentially being running for the Democrat side for presidency, because with the help of social media, YouTube, and all that stuff, a lot of people are very much now expressing their value about who's going to offer something to us. And the way how they present themselves is not a good sign right now. That it seems like no one's going to really waste their vote on somebody that doesn't really want to look into reparations. So somebody asked the question.
You know why I won't participate in the withholding the vote, Gary? Because when I listen to the individuals who've actually put that, when that information comes out about withholding votes, will only look like that is being advocated due to the Democratic side because of the black voting bloc. But when I ask the question of, are we going to be talking to the Republican candidates the same way, asking the same question, and withholding votes from them, I only get the conversation of, well, we are targeting the Democratic vote because that's where the majority of black people vote. I don't do one-sided.
I don't do one-sided either.
Yeah. If we're gonna question one, we're gonna question all. If we're gonna press one, we're gonna press all. If we're looking, if the black agenda, whatever those particular bullet points are, I've read through the one that they had before. If whatever those particular points are, I think it should go for any candidate, and that we should be pressing all. Like, why not press Trump right now? He's so bold, big, and bad, do whatever. He said he's done the most for black people than any other president. Why aren't we in his back door right now asking him about our black agenda and since he said he's done so much for us? So ain't no need to withhold a vote from them. Why don't we go after the person who's there right now? That's how I feel. Given the opportunity, ask him a question, since he says he's doing things for black people. Or are we just going to go after Democrats? And that's cool because they say that, that's what a block is. But if you don't vote Democrat, you're going to vote Republican. So are we saying that we want to take over the Democratic Party? Is that what we're saying? That we want the Democratic Party to really be in favor of us since we voted for them for such a long time? Or are we just saying, you know what, we really just want you to do this one favor for us, and then we just going to go on about our business?
I hear you. And you're right. And you're right because, all right, we shut down Democrats, so that means now we have to put pressure on the person that's in that White House right now, or any future Republican that's going to, Actually, no, it's not anything. It's only him because he's supposed to run for president. Okay. So actually, yeah.
Right. And, we have the one black little young senator, Senator Tim Scott in the state of South Carolina, right? And so we already know how Tim rolls. He's straight up Republican. But one of the things he's done is he met with about a year ago. He met with 17 companies here in the Carolinas for them to partner with our HBCUs to bridge the gap for the college students to have a job coming out of college, right? To create this type of partnership for career development for these students to participate, like 17 companies. I have that list, right? That was the challenge because, workforce, entrepreneurship, anything that has to do with something bringing in money, he's behind or whatever. And so I had made the comment one time. I was like, I'm going to see Tim Scott. And they was like, what? He a Republican. I'm like, listen, if he's putting the charge on these companies, if they're in the state of South Carolina to help these students, then I need to go with a person who's making, who's making
moves.
Right?
Exactly.
Did I vote for him? I didn't vote for him, but hell, at this time, I have a niece and a cousin in college right now, and they need these leverage opportunities. And so, although I may not be in favor for him, but if this is what he's doing, right, then I'm with it. Also, they just did a proclamation for the female veterans in the state of South Carolina, making June 12th the day that females were eligible or voting in to go into the military, right, as a proclamation, as a holiday, as a state holiday, right? So that's not a Republican governor. That's not a Democratic governor. That's a Republican governor. And so, we go to them, we politic and all that great stuff based on our needs. And so I'm saying that I'm not going to withstand no vote. What I'm trying to find out, if I don't get what I want from the person I want, then what can I get from whoever is going to be there? Because I still live in this country.
I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel you. And, we always go by, you hear the saying, you got to choose the lesser two evils. And I always say evil is evil. But, for the sake of conversation, you could press against evil a little bit to get what you want. You know what I'm saying? Because this country was built and funded by evil anyway. For all y'all know Christians.
Right. And when you live in other countries, when you've been to other countries, I know we got a bad deal and we going through some things in America, but boy, we still got one little leg up on a whole lot of countries.
Like what? Give an example, Mo. Come on, you can't just throw it out there. Give an example.
I'll give you an example. I was in Bulgaria in 2002. Right, I was on a mission in Kosovo, and I got the opportunity to go off on an economy, and it was like about 4:30, close to 5 o'clock, and when 5 o'clock hit, we was in them streets, and the lights went off, and I was like, what's going on here? And it was like, oh, they turned the lights off at 5 o'clock to conserve energy, right? There were houses that we went in that didn't have toilets, just to flush the toilet. They actually had holes in the ground where they poop. You know what I'm saying? They were still burning poop. It was an eye opener that we, our country is more developed than other places. And yes, we should have more favor than we do now. But there are people that are far away we're off, and how they treat the women, and certain things you can and cannot do. Certain times.
You don't like that. You don't like that, Mo. Huh? You don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like that.
When a man's saying real masculine, say you're gonna do this and that. I said, oh no, if you don't.
What you mean, real man, Gary? You don't want.
No. Hold on, hear me out. I said no. I said real man. I didn't say real man. I said you're dealing with some actual men down there that sit there. They don't play with their women. And when we go 1 foot, they get at that booty like woof.
Hold on. Let's push pause. Wait a minute.
They say, listen. Listen.
Okay. No, you listen. Okay. This whole patriotic, I tell this woman to do this, I tell this woman to do that, that's played out. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you both got to collectively live, regardless of what you think you should be over and what you should do. You can't think for the woman all day long or think for the whole parameter of a family. That's crazy. You both have to work together. You can laugh all you want to. You have to work together. It's a collective. And when you think about it as an overall, or if you live it, it is a group effort. It's not about who is in charge of who and what. That's crazy. And that's why some of the situations we in right now is because of that kind of mindset and that kind of thinking, like you can do this by yourself. You can't do this by yourself.
But Mo, you said it. It's a collective effort. How, in the average, we as people think as a collective group effort from the men and women? Both of us are not, especially women, not thinking that way. You know that, right?
You say women not what?
Some of our women are not thinking that way, if you think about it. Just like some of the men might not be thinking about it, but a whole bunch of women are not thinking like that. What you're saying, Mo?
I don't know what a whole lot of women are doing. I can tell you what Mo do, And I can tell you this is that if you know, I used to think that, you know, going through some type of rites of passage or having a rites of passage or being a part of something organization with rites of passage was formed was I was like, you know what, that's not really needed. But as I've grown older and I think about it and I've watched different organizations and the discipline and the collective effort that goes on with it, like I had the privilege of getting a donation, part of Disabled American Veterans, from the Order of the Eastern Stars in the Carolinas. This wasn't a black group. This was actually a white group, right? And we were actually the only black the veterans that we were the only black people in the building, right? But what I saw was one of the ladies came up to me and she was like, "Are you an Eastern Star?" And you know, we was like, "No." And it was like, "Well, you need to join." And I was like, "No," right? And she was like, "Yeah."
What's wrong with that? Join.
After watching how they went by, watching how they went about their whole order of service, and then how things went, and then watching a few rites of passage amongst a few young ladies, and then compare how they grew up. A lot of times, our issue is not whether the man is in charge of the woman or the woman is in charge of the man. Our issue is just that coming up with a systematically or a process for our young men and our young women to go through to understand how they should behave in life and how to conduct themselves. And a lot of it is really done through either the parent, the male or the female, the uncle or the aunt knows how to develop these processes, or you get in the rites of passage on a young lady or young woman, and they learn these different things. That's why Girl Scouts is important. That's why Boy Scouts is important. You know, these little different groups. And then sometimes we can mitigate some of the issues. And I think in the chat, Gary, they're telling you to open up the lines.
Well, they're going to have to wait. You me chatting right now, Mo. Screw everybody.
Oh, God. You so mean.
I'm going to open up. I see Sarge in the line. Don't worry, I'm opening this line in a minute. Come on. Okay. Let's continue. Yeah, you know, the problem, and you know, with matriarch and patriarch, and to be honest with you, Mo, I ain't know none of these terminologies, patriarch, matriarch. I mean, some say we live in a matriarch. Okay, we live in patriarch. But, you know, as right now living in this Western world, as we live now, that we're not in control of anything right now, you know, as people. So to sit there and say, okay, let's say the women run things. All right, that's cool. But as a man, you know, if we really don't like anything, we just change it. It's that simple, you know, because as men, you know how we men do it, Mo, we normally oppose the environment. So if the environment changes, the woman is going to act according to the environment. And right now the environment is changing very drastically. And a lot of people are scrambling, as you can see. Men are scrambling a little bit, and the women are scrambling because now they're losing certain values that they used to in their comfort or illusion of comfort. You know what I'm saying? Because let's say they cut women off today. Like, let's say all the programs. Let's say this happens, right? What are we going to do? You know what I'm saying? What is the backup plan? I mean, I'm trying to say, what they're going to do, especially, let's say, the men. Let's say, because, you know, most of our men and the boys, they got worse right now. Either they get the job or they can make the job. It's more of a challenge as a man in this society. Well, let's say for women, you could survive a little bit, get around a little better. But let's say they go out the way and so we're going to start cutting you off now. Now what? Well, now what now? You know what I'm saying? We're not thinking of foreseeing what is to come or what is potential might to come, you know, and that's what bothers me right now, you know. And this reparation thing is one of the, I want to say that's the last stage, but this is the only opportunity now that our people got to jump on it and jump on as hard as they can with this, because you're not going to hear this again.
Gary,
yeah.
Look at this. When you ask that question, what if the women gets off of social services? Well, all women are not on social services.
Or not, any service. Any service. It don't matter if it's social, but any service. Yeah.
Well, when you say any service, I mean, you got to be specific, because social service is the only thing that the government gets for free. right?
Okay. All right. Well, let's say social service.
When I say social service, I meant like all the different programs that the government offer, right? But all women are not on that program, and so I would say this: there's a lot of remember so the earliest recession I could think of is the one when that happened when they started doing the furloughs and the sequestrations with the jobs when it started hitting government as well back in 2007 2008. During that time period, a lot of men lost their jobs, right? And so a lot of women had to pick up the slack, and because they were giving the job back when the jobs were coming back, they were giving them more to the women than they did to the men. And when they did give the men the jobs back, they got the less a dollar amount than what they were making before, right?
Yeah.
So what had to happen at that time, you kind of had to leverage your girl in order to, to make ends meet. But people started picking up little different trades and hustling and making money. So like a lot of people I noticed, and it seems to be an oversaturated market, but it's really not, because you use the product, it goes away. People are learning how to do all these different oils and butters and all these different things. They're getting back into seamstress. They're getting back into different trades. And so when you say things like, what if we don't? Well, I'm not on social services, but when
I know. You got your own business. You got your business.
When people do lose services or whatnot, what are they going to do? Your natural instincts of survival is going to kick in. You got to hustle. You got to make ends meet. And so if that means getting back to the land and learning farming to grow your own food and, going fishing and, surviving, you will do what it takes to survive. So I don't think that, it's gonna stop. You're gonna find a way to hustle. Now there's gonna be some crime created. That ain't nothing new. But at the end of the day, I don't think life's gonna stop, because if the men ain't getting the opportunity and the woman is your last opportunity and she no longer gets that opportunity, then you're gonna have to do something and you're gonna make a way. I don't think.
I agree. Yeah.
And Gary, be nice and open up the lines, please. Let the people.
I'm opening the line now. But Mo, we're gonna probably come on next Sunday or wherever Sunday, and we're gonna talk about something. I don't know what we're gonna talk about, but I gotta have back off on something.
It better not be no man-woman issue, because
no. We deal with business. We deal with what you're good at. We don't deal with the man-woman business. I'm saying, that's not your forte. Matter of fact, you quench that. I'm saying. I bring some men on here. It's gonna get on your feelings a little bit. It's gonna mess with that.
Get on my
heart.
Feelings.
It's gonna mess with that womb, man. I don't want to mess with your womb. Come on, girl, relax. Let me see who this is online. Sarge, who's this? Hello? Open your line. Who's this? I guess this is nobody. Okay. Last thing I want to say, if you still there, Mo?
Yeah, I'm here.
Well, last thing I will say this, and I know, and the funny thing, America is very good to I guess, like you said, women and probably other things, because outside of here, it's rough, and you've been in the military, so you've seen a lot of crap that you might not even discuss on this wave, possibly, and it shows appreciation that a lot of females got it good up here. You think about it. They got really good up here, But outside here, there is no really programs, if you think about it. I don't know about Africa, because I know they don't offer some programs, but, they have to operate in their roles and, operate the way it is.
Yeah, they come in and take like, for instance, when I was in Iraq, we used to have these little camps, and we had the people who did like the maintenance and the cleaning and all that, and we had a group of Filipino women. And those women had come to the camp to work, and so they would work and they would take money, they would work and they'd send money back home to their families at home. And so, just little things like that, they would come for opportunity. So many of them were, of course, they was trying to get with American soldiers, male or female. to marry.
Male and female. Oh shit.
Yeah. No, not no. What I'm saying is that there were men and women. So the men.
Oh, okay.
The men would try to get at the female soldiers, and then the males would try to get at the women, the females. Or you know what I'm trying to say. And to marry, to become an American citizen or whatnot. And they would always. But one of the things they're very appreciative, of what they had going on. It's just that everybody looks for America for different opportunities or whatnot. And, of course, that's where we are right now. And everybody's like, it's too many immigrants over here, and they're taking out opportunities, this, that, or whatever. But I was speaking to a lady. She's an African lady from West Africa, and she braided my hair. And so, of course, I was asking her share with me some things about what's different in her country now. Why did she come to America? Things of that nature. And she was just saying how when before the whole colonization or whatever, how it used to just be like everybody was just like neighbors, so to speak, and it was just like one big, not one big happy family, but it was just more of a communal type thing. But now, after colonization, it's like strangers. Like you be right across the street, right across the next village or whatever. It's just like you're total strangers now. It's so much division. And so I even think about just here how, it can be so divided. We talk about other people coming into our country and it being divided. We're dividing that way. But here, from the north to the south, in the same state, from neighborhood to neighborhood, we got our own challenges,
Okay.
And so what I try to focus on is this, the programs that I can help. I used to try to be a global person, and that was just too broad for me. And so I scaled it down and say, okay, what can I do in my immediate community, and how can I help? And I started with what you would say, those people on those assistance. I started with trying to help people with jobs who were on assistance, and I went into the workforce development. I went into social services, and, man, that's hard. So when people talk about what you're doing when you're coming back to the hood, how you going to help the hood, how you going to help the people who are in lack, that is a hard job. It's very difficult. You're talking about changing the mindset. You're talking about, because people need money, and unless you're pouring in some dollars, you know what I'm saying? It's hard for them to listen. And so when we would run out of finances, when our programs would run out of money and I could pay you $20 an hour and I drop it down to $10 an hour or something of that nature or whatever, you didn't get the same response, right? Or if I didn't come in with a whole bunch of resources for those individuals, males and females alike, you don't get the same response, and you have to work mega hard. So a lot of times I volunteer community service, and a lot of people that do these things with me are volunteering, and like you don't have a choice. So you have to have a heart for this, and you can't be lacking finances yourself. You have to be built for the community service. You have to be built for helping. You have to have the skill set, and then you have to go into the understanding that you are building people from the ground, that you're getting ready to go in to help people who, first of all, have to develop a trust for you and a respect for you. And then when you can get over that hurdle is when you can start to try to teach, and then you can go into the mentorship and the coaching of them, as opposed to just have being like them, like a little puppy. You telling them what to do all the time. But you have to bridge the gap of trust, then the respect, then to teach, then the mentor, and then the coach. And that takes time. So when you're talking about going back into the community and you helping the community in economic empowerment and financial literacy and all of this stuff, people got to get over the excitement that they got money first. And then once they have it and they done spend it and they splurge and have fun with it, then they come back and they say, whoa, okay, now I need to learn how to save, right? Then I need to people, and I need to transfer my knowledge. That takes time. It takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
Open up your lines, Sherry.
Hold on, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to say one thing, Monica. I'm going to end the stream, and then they're going to open the conference in a little bit. I'm going to say this. The mind has to work first. And like always, you always got to cater to whatever the people are at, mentally or physical, or their financial issues. Because think about it. That's the whole reason why we're still in the situation we're in, because what's in our head mentally. you have to be out of your mind to refuse what is owed to you. Especially if you have friends, someone say you don't deserve that and all that stuff. That's a mental illness. I'm sorry. Because why will you fight what has been rightfully owed to you because you got a job, you're secure? No. The only reason why you're still maintained is because you're dealing with by the check to check. And everything that's put you on the rug is through policy, through Congress, and for your politicians. So this is something our people got to stop ignoring. You know?
When that Louisiana Congress guy said, I did not, I wasn't alive, why should I have to pay? They should have came back and said, well, then why don't you give us back that land and them houses that your ancestors passed on to you because you wasn't alive then you don't deserve that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's a good response to give them. And especially to any black foo-foo person that said, oh, we don't know what reparation is. And you have to be careful, Mo. Well, a lot of people that sit there that would say that as a black person, quote-unquote black person, if they're saying that we don't deserve nothing, you have to be cautious because some of these black people could not be from around here, Well,
I could tell you, I have a few of my friends that said it. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And they're in politics. They're in politics.
Wow.
And I was surprised. I couldn't believe they said. I was like, what did you just? So it was like, so you're trying to tell me you're just for black people? I said, well, who else the hell I should be for? Because this last time I checked, I was black. What do you mean? And it was like, and that's when they went into the fact of what you was gonna do with your money. And I was like, so I said, okay, let me tell you. I said, okay, well, let me ask you this. Let's not talk about the money portion of it. Let's not talk about the check. Let me ask you, what are you doing as a black politician in the state of South Carolina where the mass majority of the contracts, we get maybe 1%, if that, of the contracts that are in the state of South Carolina when the regulation says that 30% of the contracts need to go to minority businesses. Where are you at with that? When the last time you went and verified if the people on the list were capable or eligible for these contracts when they sit at the table to tell you there is no minority contract that's eligible for these contracts? Oh, I didn't. And so this response they gave me, oh, I didn't know that was a problem. That's my point exactly. You over here worried about how somebody going to spend their check. What you need to be learning, what you need to be for is how the people who are, the programs that are in place right now, like, for example, one of the things on the AWS website, one of the first paragraphs, it says that they want SBA, they want to get, I think it's anywhere from 14 to 15% of the SBA loans given to minority contractors. Well, let's retract that. The SBA has a 8-APA program that's developed for small minority businesses so that they can have a seat at the table. And we know if you get the 8-APA certification that you are privy to source those contracts for anything less than $4 million. So why are we advocating for loans when we could be advocating for these minority contractors to be on this 8-APA schedule where they can get these contracts and they can build their own economic wealth and they don't have to pay it back when they can get lines of credit based off that government contract that they just received based off that 8-APA certification. But our politicians aren't in place. So when they're at the table and they're asking or they're privy to this and they say, okay, well, you can't get this, well, then what about that? So if you're not going to give me reparations, what are you going to do about that 30%? Well, won't you boost that 30% to 70% or 50% of the projects that are going to a minority contractor where we can build up our economic growth? Why don't we change some of those rules? See, even when you bring economists in and all of those great people, at the same sense, we still have to start tackling where the rubber meets the road because there are things right now in our immediate table. And I was so mad that those Democratic Republicans came and I wasn't here because I was at my alumni convention. But if I had a chance, and I have friends that went to that event, and if I had a chance and I had to speak with Congress Cory Booker or Jesse Jackson or Joe Biden, all these folks that came down here, I had that conversation. My first conversation is, what are you going to do about the 1,700 contractors in the state of South Carolina that's eligible and on the list on the 8-hour certification, but they do not have a government contract because the state of South Carolina and all these government contractors that come out in the primary world says that our contractors are not eligible, even though they are on the list and eligible to get these contracts. They have general contracts and all this great stuff. I done went through the whole list. What are you guys going to do about that? What are you doing right now in real time to audit the contracts in the Carolinas, and we're not getting them? But there are 1,700 companies that are on the list that don't have contracts. What are you doing about that?
Yeah. We're going to delve in this more when I have you on the next stream. Is that fine, Monica? Well, I'm going to end tonight's session here. I hope y'all guys will tune in next time for the next broadcast here on Chaos and Rain. And if you're there, Tyron Thompson, you know what to do. But other than that, thank y'all for listening. Good night now.
Good night.
Comment, subscribe, and like the video. And thank you again for listening. And be sure to check out other videos on Chaos Rain channel.